On Nature by Parmenides of Elea in Fragments. 1. The mares which carry me as far as my spirit ever aspired were escorting me when they brought me and proceeded along the renowned route of the goddess which brings a knowing mortal to all cities one by one. On this route I was being brought, on it wise mares were bringing me, straining the chariot, and maidens were guiding the way. The axle in the center of the wheel was shrilling forth the bright sound of a musical pipe, ablaze, for it was being driven forward by two rounded wheels at either end, as the daughters of the sun were hastening to escort me after leaving the house of night. For the light, having pushed back the veils from their heads with their hands, there are the gates of the roads of night and day, and a lintel and a stone threshold contain them. High in the sky they are filled by huge doors, of which avenging justice holds the keys that fit them. The maidens beguiled her with soft words, and skillfully persuaded her to push back the bar for them quickly from the gates. They made a gaping gap of the doors when they opened them, swinging in turn in their sockets the bronze posts, fastened with bolts and rivets. There, straight through them then, the maidens held the chariot and horses on the broad road. And the goddess received me kindly, took my right hand in hers, and addressed me with these words: Young man, accompanied by immortal charioteers, who reach my house by the horses which bring you, welcome, since it was not an evil destiny that sent you forth to travel this route, for indeed it is far from the beaten path of humans, but right and justice. There is need for you to learn all things, both the unshaken heart of persuasive truth and the opinions of mortals, in which there is no true reliance. But nevertheless you will learn these too, that it is right that the objects of opinion genuinely are, being always, indeed, all things. 2. But come now, I will tell you, and you, when you have heard the story, bring it away, about those routes of investigation that are the only ones to be thought of. The one both that is, and that it is not the case that is not, is the path of persuasion, for it accompanies truth. The other, both that is not, and that is not is right, this indeed I declare to you to be a track entirely unable to be investigated. For you cannot know what is not, for it cannot be accomplished, nor can you declare it. 3. For the same thing both can be thought of and can be. 4. But gaze upon things which, although absent, are securely present to the mind, for you will not cut off what is from clinging to what is, neither being scattered everywhere in every way in order, nor being brought together. 5. For me it is indifferent where I am to begin from, for that is where I will arrive back again. 6. It is right both to say and to think that it is what is, for it is the case that it is, but nothing is not. These things I bid you to ponder. For this is the first route of investigation from which I hold you back, and then from that one on which mortals, knowing nothing, wander two-headed, for helplessness in their breasts steers their wandering mind. They are borne along, deaf and blind alike, dazed hordes without judgment, by whom it, namely what is thought both to be and not to be, the same and not the same, but the path of all is backward turning. 7. For in no way may this ever be defeated, so that things that are not are. But you hold your thought back from this route of investigation, and do not let habit rich in experience compel you along this route, to direct a nameless eye and an echoing ear, and tongue, and judge by reason the much contested examination spoken by me. Just one story of a route is still left. On this route there are signs, very many, that what is ungenerated and imperishable, whole, unique, steadfast, and complete. Nor was it ever, nor will it be, since it is now altogether. 1. Holding together. For what birth will you investigate for it? How and from what did it grow? I will allow you neither to say nor to think from what is not, for is not to be said or thought of. What need would have roused it, later or earlier, to grow, having begun from nothing? In this way it is right either fully to be or not, nor will the force of conviction ever impel anything to come to be, beside from what is not. For this reason, neither coming to be nor perishing did justice allow, loosening her shackles, but she holds it. And the decision about these things is in this: is or is not, and it has been decided, as is necessary, to leave the one root unthought of and unnamed, for it is not a real root, so that the other root is and is genuine. But how can what is be hereafter? How can it come to be? For if it came to be, it is not even if it is sometime going to be. Thus generation has been extinguished, and perishing cannot be investigated. Nor is it divisible, since it is all alike, and not at all more in any respect which would keep it from holding together, or at all inferior, but it is all full of what is. Therefore it is all holding together, for what is draws near to what is. But motionless in the limits of great bonds it is, without starting or ceasing, since generation and perishing have wandered far, far away. True conviction repelled them. Remaining the same, and in the same, and by itself it lies, and so remains there fixed. For mighty necessity holds it in bonds of a limit, which holds it back on all sides. For this reason it is right for what is to be not incomplete, for it is not lacking, otherwise what is would be in want of everything. What is to be thought of is the same as that on account of which the thought is. For not without what is, on which it depends, having been solemnly pronounced, will you find thinking, for nothing else either is or will be except what is, since precisely this is what fate shackled to be whole and motionless. Therefore it has been named all things, that mortals, persuaded that they are real, have posited, both to be generated and to perish, to be and not, and to change place and alter bright color. But since the limit is ultimate, it, namely what is complete from all directions, like the bulk of a well-rounded sphere, equally matched from the middle on all sides, for it is right for it to be not in any way greater or any lesser than in another. For neither is it the case that what is it not is, which would stop it from reaching the same, nor is there any way in which what is would be in one way more than what is, and in another way less, since it is all inviolable. For equal to itself from all directions, it meets uniformly with its limits. At this point, I want you to know I end my reliable account and thought about truth. From here on, learn mortal opinions, listening to the deceitful order of my words. For they establish two forms to name in their judgments, of which it is not right to name one. In this they have gone astray, and they distinguish things opposite in body and establish signs apart from one another. For one, the ethereal fire of flame, mild, very light, the same as itself in every direction, but not the same as the other, but that other one in itself is opposite. Dark night, a dense and heavy body. I declare to you all the ordering as it appears, so that no mortal judgment may ever overtake you. 9. But since all things have been named light and night, and the things which accord with their powers have been assigned to these things and those, all is full of light and obscure night together, of both equally, since neither has any share. 10. You shall know the nature of the aether, and all the signs in the ether, and the destructive deeds of the shining sun's pure torch, and whence they came to be, and you shall learn the wandering deeds of the round-faced moon, and its nature, and you shall know also the surrounding heaven, from what it grew and how necessity led and shackled it to hold the limits of the stars. 11. Lacuna. How earth and sun and moon, and the ether that is common to all in the Milky Way and furthest Olympus, and the hot force of the stars surged forth and came to be. 12. For the narrower wreaths were filled with unmixed fire, the ones next to them with night, but a due amount of fire is inserted among it, and in the middle of these is the goddess who governs all things, for she rules over hateful birth and union of all things, sending the female to unite with male in an opposite fashion, male to female. 13. First of all gods she contrived love. 14. Night shining foreign light wandering around earth. 15. Always looking toward the rays of the sun. 16. For as each person has a mixture of much wandering limbs, so is thought present to humans, for that which thinks, the constitution of the limbs, is the same in all humans and everyone, for that which is more is thought. 17. That the male is conceived in the right part of the uterus has been said by others of the ancients, for Parmenides says, the goddess brought boys into being on the right side of the uterus, girls on the left. 18. As soon as woman and man mingle the seeds of love that come from their veins, a formative power fashions well-constructed bodies from their two differing bloods, if it maintains a balance. For if, when the seed is mingled, the powers clash, and do not create a single power in the body resulting from the mixture, with double seed they will dreadfully disturb the nascent sex of the child. 19. In this way, according to opinion, these things have grown and now are, and afterwards, after growing up, will come to an end. And upon them humans have established a name to mark each one. 20. Alone, unmoving, is that for which as a whole the name is to be.